So now we know that Bryan Kohberger did not stalk any of these victims. But this also affects some of the other details that we know as well. Hey everyone, it's Lucky with Unfiltered Lucky. And today I want to talk a little bit about this last Bryan Kohberger hearing and a very important detail that came out in that hearing. Now, we were led to believe that Bryan Kohberger was driving repeatedly around the King Roadhouse and had even gotten close enough to the house to actually touch the Wi-Fi. We were told that Bryan Kohberger was driving around this house to stalk one of these victims, maybe more, and also to case the house, look through the windows and maybe get an idea of the layout of the King Road house, since Bryan Kohberger had never been there. But at this last hearing, Bill Thompson and Judge both confirmed that Bryan Kohberger was not stalking these victims. Now, nobody has ever said that they saw Bryan Kohberger inside or around the King Roadhouse. But to be fair, nobody in this area has really said anything. Was Bryan Kohberger driving around the King Roadhouse repeatedly, say 12 times, and did he get close enough to actually touch the Wi-Fi, like law enforcement believes, and also like Steve Gonsalves has said? Is the cell phone tower evidence too broad to actually determine if Bryan Kohberger was in this direct area? That was kind of an important detail, because that was one of the details that could possibly connect Bryan Kohberger to these victims. Now, I never really believed that Bryan Kohberger was stalking these victims, but I've always kept in mind that it's definitely a possibility. So now, he wasn't stalking the girls. He wasn't tracking their schedule and following them to try to get an idea of their routines. He wasn't driving around the King Roadhouse looking through the windows to try to see who was inside or to get a possible idea of the layout of the inside of this house, which we've been led to believe. So how would he be familiar with the King Roadhouse in any way? I feel like we've debunked the fake IG page in previous videos. I talked about how this page was created, and Bryan Kohberger did not create this fake IG page that supposedly was following the girls. And, there was also a rumor that he had tried to contact one of the girls as well. But I feel like we debunked that fake IG page. And I talked about that in previous videos and, provided proof as to how Bryan Kohberger had nothing to do with that IG page. So now, not only was he not stalking the girls, which I would assume means driving around the house and looking through the windows and tracking their movements, but the IG page is also a fake IG page. So that's another connection to the victims that's gone. I've always wondered, because it's been said that they were fixing locks on the doors before these crimes occurred. It's been stated that Kaylee and Maddie were both very aware of their surroundings. And it's been said that security was a very high priority for Kaylee. So I've always wondered, why didn't they have a Ring camera at the King Roadhouse? Or any type of security camera, whether it be inside or outside? I imagine that Kaylee would have to leave her dog in her bedroom for periods of time while she was out. And, a lot of people use like small personal security cameras for rooms where they keep their animals so that they can keep an eye on their pets. So the King Roadhouse didn't really have a fenced-in yard where Murphy could have just gone outside and stayed outside while Kaylee was gone. So I imagine that Kaylee may have a camera in her room so that she could possibly keep an eye on Murphy for those extended periods when he was in her bedroom. Now, it's also been stated that there's a lot of people in and out of this house. So it doesn't seem like it would be uncommon for any of these roommates to have, a small personal security camera in their room just to make sure that nobody was going in there. There's also the possibility that there was a home pod or that type of device, a Dot, Alexa, inside this house. Maybe one of these roommates or more of these roommates had these devices because they do all kinds of things. They play music and you can control a lot of things with one of these devices. So is it possible that maybe one of these roommates, maybe more of these roommates, had that type of device where they could listen in on their bedroom? Kaylee had moved out of the house. So it's very possible that maybe Kaylee had one of these devices so that she could listen in on her room and make sure that nobody else was going in there while she wasn't there. Because Kaylee was still paying for this bedroom. So it wouldn't seem uncommon for her to maybe put one of these devices in her bedroom so that she would know that nobody was using her bedroom while she wasn't there. It's very possible that one of the roommates in this house, or maybe more than one of these roommates, had that type of device, an Echo Dot, with Alexa, where they could listen into their room. Or there's a lot of things that these things do. They play music and they do all kinds of things. So it wouldn't seem odd for, a number of these roommates to have these in their bedrooms. Is it possible that maybe Kaylee had either a small personal security camera or an Alexa in her bedroom, and maybe investigators were able to pull information from Kaylee's phone? Is that why maybe they're holding on to Kaylee's phone in evidence? It's very possible that one or more of these roommates had this type of device in their bedroom. And it's very possible that there's either video or audio from inside this house. So is that maybe the video and the audio that everyone's talking about? Maybe it has nothing to do with the exterior cameras around the King Roadhouse. And maybe it has everything to do with a possible camera or, a possible listening device that was inside the house. I've always found it very strange that Murphy, Kaylee's dog, was shut inside her bedroom rather than in Maddie's bedroom with the girls. It just seems strange to me that Kaylee would lock Murphy in her room and then go get in bed with Maddie. So it leads me to believe that Kaylee did begin in her bedroom. Maybe she got up to go check on Maddie. There's also the possibility that she was moved from her bedroom to Maddie's room. You know, I've just always thought that it's very likely that Kaylee may have a personal security camera for Murphy, or that she would have maybe an Echo Dot or, an Alexa device that she could use to listen in on Murphy, and also listen to music or, control other devices in her room. She comes from an IT background, so it wouldn't seem odd for her to have these types of technological devices. A lot of students have these in their dorm rooms and in their apartments, and a lot of people have these in their homes in general. But it's always seemed odd to me that Murphy was alone in Kaylee's bedroom. It seems as though Kaylee would have let Murphy sleep with her and Maddie. Now, there's also the rumors that people in this area in the early morning hours heard people calling for Murphy. It's very possible that maybe Murphy ran out of the house. Maybe Murphy got away. It's a possibility that maybe Murphy wasn't in the house while these crimes were occurring. Maybe Murphy had ran out the back door. Maybe the suspect or the perpetrator left the back door open, and that's how Murphy got out. But we don't know that Murphy was in Kaylee's bedroom. We only know that Murphy was in Kaylee's bedroom when law enforcement got there. So it's very possible that someone could have put Murphy inside Kaylee's bedroom, which means that there's also a possibility that whoever committed these crimes did go inside Kaylee's bedroom and possibly was seen on camera or heard on an Alexa device. Maybe some of the other roommates had these types of devices in their bedrooms as well. These devices are very common. So it's possible that one or more of these roommates likely had, a small personal security camera or possibly an Alexa device. Now, could this be the audio and the video that contains the damning evidence? Is this the video and the audio that law enforcement is talking about? The audio or the video coming from inside the house. Okay, I got way off track there. Let's get back to Bryan Kohberger not stalking these victims. Now that we know that Bryan Kohberger was not stalking any of these victims, now I'm wondering if he really did drive around this house 12 times. Now I'm wondering if Bryan Kohberger was ever really in this area. Because it seems as though if he was driving around this house repeatedly, as law enforcement has stated that he was, it would seem as though that would be construed as stalking. So no stalking, no IG page, and still no established connection between Bryan Kohberger and these victims or the house. There's no weapon, no IgG information being introduced, and we still don't have a motive. There's a reason why Bryan Kohberger is sitting in that defendant's chair. Now, whether Bryan Kohberger committed these crimes or not, there's a reason why he's sitting in that seat. I'm going to talk about a theory that I thought about quite a while ago. And a lot of you are probably going to think that I'm crazy for thinking about this theory. But I know that other people have also thought about this as well. And it may seem a little off the wall, but you'll have to hear me out because it's definitely possible. I think that most of y'all know that I have a common sense approach. So when I put this video out in the next day or two discussing this theory, just know that I have thought a lot about this and I have broken it down, and it is possible. Now, as far as Bryan Kohberger not stalking these victims, and, Bill Thompson confirmed that Bryan Kohberger was not stalking any of these victims. But I feel like Bill has been known to not tell the truth. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if Bill is lying about this being fake news. These people would say anything, in my opinion, to keep all of these details a secret. So maybe Bill's lying and it's not just fake news. And now I'm starting to wonder what else is fake news. Thanks for hanging out with me today. And if you liked my video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. I really do appreciate it. Stay tuned for my next video, and we'll see you next time.